Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular city council meeting this Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. I'd like to welcome everyone here today. We started out today's meeting with a work session at 5 o'clock, talked about, of course, budget items, one more meeting of budget items, and we're good for the year, and then we'll just start it again in a couple months. So comes around every year. So we thank everybody for all the time and effort they put into that budget for this coming year. It looks really, really good. We talked a little bit about Terrace Days coming up on June 13th and 14th. So look at the flyers, look at the webpage. It's all over everywhere. So we got some great things going on this year. Let's go to our council meeting now. We'll have item number 2 is our roll call. Amy, here?
Here.
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 Here. Here. All right, thank you. We have everyone here tonight. Thank you for your attendance. I appreciate that. Item number 3 is our Pledge of Allegiance. If you all rise and repeat the pledge with me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you all for that Pledge of Allegiance. I appreciate that very, very much. And again, we welcome you all this evening. Let's move on to consent items, approval of tonight's agenda and approval of the meeting minutes of May 20th. Any changes to the agenda, staff? Seeing none. Any changes or corrections for our minutes of May 20th, council? Nothing? Amy, great job as usual. Appreciate that. Any objections to the approval of those 2 items? Seeing none, we'll approve those by general consent. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 6, citizen comments. It's the opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please come to the podium there and state your name. We'll let you take 3 minutes. Would anybody like to speak today? Anything? Okay. You made it just in time.
So my name is Anna Davidson and I live at 5101 South, 600 West. And I've been approached with my husband, Ron, for us to give y'all some of our property for the sidewalk. But we have some concerns and we want to address those concerns with you guys. And make sure that this is actually going to be a mutually beneficial thing to help folks, because it doesn't feel like it the way it was approached to us recently. So we want to be able to maybe get a meeting with you and sit down and really discuss what this is going to be, because my concern is if we put this sidewalk in and we'll give you all a piece of our property for the proposed $40, what are you going to do to slow the traffic down in and out of the park at the corner? Because putting in a sidewalk isn't going to do it. And there's a serious concern about how quickly them folks come in and out of there. I can't even park in my own driveway sometimes. It's not patrolled very well, no offense, but there's not a lot of patrol that goes on. We just about got hit on our way over here from a car speeding on our street. And so my concern is if we give you a portion of our property, it's a deficit to us at that point. It doesn't do value. It takes away from our property value at that point. But also I have a concern. I've been told, and I want you to correct me if this is wrong, but I've been told that if we give you that easement, that we're actually legally responsible if someone gets hurt on that property because it's still ours. And that's a concern for me. I also have a concern of how this is going to roll out. When the road got done last year, there was a chunk of sidewalk that was left in the perimeter, and he tripped and fell and broke his toe. And I wrote the city and asked to get that cleaned up. And it's still there today, a year later. And so I'm like concerned as the property owner that has the most to give right now, what that's going to look like for us. So we thought the best thing to do was to come and talk to y'all about it and get on the same page.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate you doing that. We will set you up with the right people, with city manager, public works director, whoever.
And we just,
This group here is
yeah.
not.
And I've come before you a
technical.
couple of years ago about my concerns, and we're not unwilling, like we told you, to do the right thing, but it has to align. It has to make sense and it has to have the checks and balances in it that make sure there's an equal amount of responsibility on the city's part as well as our part. So we
So,
want to go over
yeah.
that.
So you live on that side and you drive the Ogden City.
I do.
Right? You're
I
an
work-
advocate.
I work for
Great.
Ogden City, yes.
Good job. Appreciate you
So,
doing that. May I suggest you don't park that on the street because it's a hazard as you pull out of there. It's hard to
Mhm.
look around.
well, the problem is we got limited parking, right? So,
You park there and then the plumbing truck up the road parks his there.
yeah,
And
And-
by the time you come out there, you can't see traffic coming.
it's like and then people park on that turn
Yeah.
and then you're in the road when you're coming around that turn. But if we park any closer, then our mail lady won't bring our mail. So we have a balance to keep because she's kind of not very nice. So we're like, do we want our mail? What do we do here?
Okay,
So that's
Uh,
my concerns I wanted to address with y'all.
okay, Anna, we need to hook you up with some,
Happy to meet. Jake has all of your contact information, I'm assuming.
He's been emailing me, but
And I've reached out to you as well on that survey for the CDBG.
yeah, we
And
talked on that.
That we've chatted a little bit.
Yeah.
Got a little acquainted anyways.
And I figured when y'all reached out about that, this was what you were trying to do. But when he came to us in April, caught us at home, talked to us, said he'd be back in an hour, and a month later I heard back from him. So,
Okay,
and then it was hurry up and do, and I'm like, no, that's not how this is gonna work.
okay,
So
okay,
I want to make sure we're on the same page.
okay.
Okay?
Let me reach out with
Okay.
you tomorrow
Okay,
and I promise it'll actually be tomorrow.
okay,
And we'll get together and see how we can work together on this.
okay, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
thank you, Anna. We will all send Tom a reminder to call you tomorrow. Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to item number 7, new business, 7.1 discussion, fireworks restriction within city limits. And we do have the fire chief with us, so chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. It's good to be here. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. We've done it for numerous years, but since we have some new faces on the council, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what we were doing and why we do what we do. So 2017, maybe if I'm wrong, is when we did the ordinance, correct? There's an ordinance side that gave the fire chief permission for a firework restriction in the city. And we implemented it anything south of 5,500 and then west of 500 west. No fireworks in that area, just it was just a clean line through the city to keep fireworks or anything from the hillside off of Romer and then to the houses going down towards Harvey's property and that down on Adams Avenue, just to keep things away from there, to keep it from not going up and having fires down there. With the conditions that we're seeing already this year, that firework restriction will be implemented again. Moving forward, it will go to the state fire marshal to put in their information. It has to go to them to be approved every year, and then it goes out from there. City went out in the newsletter in June already, correct? I think so. Do you have any questions? I just wanted to bring it to you very briefly, just so you know what's going on in case you get questions or anybody asks if it's in place, yes, it is, and that's where it's at. Excuse me. I've talked to Riverdale, so there's a couple little pockets there west of 500 west, which is Riverdale, like 4,800 south, down in that cul-de-sac, and then where the hills kind of sloughed off over there in that little area is Riverdale. Cherry Hills area down 300 west is Riverdale. That's all, they do the same thing. That's off limits to fireworks and open burning during those months. So they follow the same thing as we do. And it's actually on the map showing it's a different color. It's in a blue color because it's Riverdale, but it's noted that that's still off limits to fireworks in that area.
Okay, that was my
And
question.
Riverdale does follow that with us.
Okay, that was my question. Okay, thank you. Cheryl?
Yes, ma'am.
So I happened to be one of those houses that was like 500, 5,000. 55,000. So so my neighbors that love to do fireworks, is it okay if they leave our little area and go down right on 5,500 and do
Yes,
them on
ma'am.
5,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Both sides.
on the north side of 5,500, not the south side of 5,500?
Technically, as long as they're on 5,500 or 500 west, that's fine. It's just anything west or south of that.
Okay, so I can let them know that they won't be visited by somebody saying, don't do your fireworks if they're on 55.
And the
Unless they start.
ordinance does give us the option to, it's up to a $50 fine for that, but I think I've only done it once in my career, and that's because they wanted to not listen, and they would put them away, and then 30 minutes later, we'd get a call back. We'd go show up, they would put them away. You know, most people are very understanding and say, okay, where can we go? And just say, just move out here and they do it.
Are there limits on what type of fireworks we're allowing?
Yes, it's what's
That's
called a
what-
Class C
what-
firework. I can explain, you want me to explain what that is a little bit? So there is aerials that can be lit off in the state of Utah. They're considered what they call pancake fireworks or cake fireworks. They're multi-shot, which have their issues. So you light a fuse and it shoots it off, and it'll do anywhere from five shots up to maybe 100 rounds, all, you know, back to back. So those are legal in the state of Utah. The problem is if you don't support them correctly, they lose balance and they tip over, and then they become a projectile in the wrong direction. So firework companies have been told to please explain that you need to brace these somehow or glue them down to a board or something. Illegal fireworks would be like your bottle rockets, firecrackers, jumping jacks, all the good stuff. Yes. Roman candles, and then the single shot mortars. So it's very easy to tell the difference between a cake style firework and a single shot mortar. Just the sound, and a single shot mortar will go 200 to 300 feet in the air, where the cakes go 100 to 150 feet. Does that answer your question a little more than you want?
That's a great deal. It helps a great deal. And then how are we dealing with the fire safety for our fireworks for Romer Park stuff? with our
Romer
Terrace
Park.
Days?
So luckily, now that we've done what we've done down there,
Mhm.
we don't have to worry about all the trees and brush that were there prior to making it an open like playground, right? So we have a good black asphalt to light the fireworks off now on. Prior to lighting off, we will wet down the hillside. At the fence that goes down towards Riverdale, we wet that down really good. And then we also will wet down the pickleball court and the playground. We'll put a sprinkler, right? We have a garden hose that this is the second time we're doing this, so sorry. We'll put a sprinkler on those couple spots to keep it wet during the fireworks, but we'll have Riverdale along with us there to help out. And then we give back to them on the 4th during theirs, because they light off right there by America First and that hillside by their fire station right there, and they need some help usually too with fires that pop up, so we go back and help that. Give and take.
Yeah. But you only have to stay there for 12 minutes instead of 15 minutes this year.
Is that all it is this year?
It's 3 minutes left, right, Dean?
That's right.
So we decided. Okay, all right, thank you.
Perfect. Anything
Appreciate
else?
that update. That's good. That's a good area right there.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 7.2, motion/resolution 25-09. Interlocal agreement between Washington Terrace City and various entities entered into with Weber County for provision of forensic technical services. A lot easier than it sounds.
Yep,
Is
it
it?
is a lot
Tom,
easier
go
than it
ahead.
sounds. We have historically had a interlocal agreement for CSI services with all of the entities in Weber County. That is still the same. And they're just renewing that. They'll be renewing that for an additional 5 years. And the language in the agreement is a little more clear that the use of CSI will be distributed based on use. And various cities will be charged according to that use. Right now, and the anticipation is that is included in our contract that we pay for our higher level of service from the sheriff office. And so that is anticipated that should remain within that contract amount that we're currently paying. So there was some questions early on about the language. I reached out to Julie with the sheriff's office, the sheriff, and with members of the county leadership. And the intent is to just tighten up the language and to continue operating as we have historically done. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Simple as that. Thank you, Tom. We do this no, we don't do this every year.
About 5 years.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions, council? Pretty straightforward. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the interlocal agreement. About the rest of that.
Okay, resolution 25-09.
Like 25-05? Nine. Yeah, sorry. Resolution 25-09.
Second it?
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 25-09 interlocal agreement between Washington Terrace and CSI Services. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call. Amy?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Parkinson,
Yes.
Councilmember West.
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, we have another motion resolution 25-10. This is a resolution approving an interlocal agreement with South Ogden City for senior services. Tom?
Okay, as you all know, we've approved that interlocal agreement with Weber Human Services for the personnel and the not the operations, but the programming at the senior center. And in order to help with that programming, South Ogden City has offered to help pay that difference between the Weber Human Services budget and an amount that would need to be paid to help keep that employee on staff. At this time, it is also would like to recognize that also on their agenda tonight for approval of this same interlocal in both directions. So the interlocal is for us to receive the funding to help, and I believe right off the top of my head, I don't have it all in front of me, but around $6,000 and change, if that's
6,069.
excuse me.
6,069.
6,069, thank you. And that would have an inflationary clause of the 3% for the COLA and the CPI, both of which goes to the employee. And so we're grateful that South Ogden is willing to help out with that, and we'll have that in place moving forward. Any questions for that?
Seeing none, we entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution 25-10, resolution approving the interlocal agreement with South Ogden City for the senior services.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Amy?
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw,
Yes.
Councilmember Parkinson,
Yes.
Councilmember West,
Yes.
Councilmember Shaw.
Yes.
All right, that is unanimous also. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on to item number 8, council communication with staff. Jill, we'll start with you, sweetie. You have anything for us?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Councilmember Z? Okay.
It's been a quiet week.
Cheryl? Quiet?
It's been a quiet week.
Jeff?
Couple weeks.
Just a question on the 300 West project. You're gonna update us on that.
Yeah, but I'll be happy to hit it now if you'd like.
Well, just there was some confusion that it was going to start, then it wasn't going to start.
There was some confusion.
Okay, Tom, handle that
What
right now.
happened?
While we're on the
Well,
topic,
you got us excited.
so Wednesday, the fourth, it will begin. They're doing a seal coat, they're doing a chip seal on it. Which they wanted to do that, last year when they wrapped up the project, but it got a little late in the season. So there'll be, it won't be a huge shutdown, but that will be Wednesday and Thursday if needed. And then they'll be back to stripe. And that will be just enough striping to take care of the striping on that. Won't take a long time, but they will be, per your request, they'll be continuing the striping all the way through that area for bicycle and alternative transportation going up and down that road. So they'll be including that in that striping on that project as well. So it's just a chip seal and the painting is all that project amounts to. We have given, I talked with Jake about it this morning. They've handed out door hangers to everyone on there to try to get the word out. They've also put it on social media and again, try to get the word out a little bit that will be happening. South Ogden also has some road closures coming up. And so over the weekend, I got a couple texts from their city manager saying, are you shutting down 300 West? I'm like, yeah, just for a minute, just to take care of a couple things. So it won't be, knock on wood, the disruption should be fairly mild.
Well, it's closed right off right now.
Yeah, I got
It's
40.
closed.
Is it right now?
Oh, it's closed, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they said give it till Friday. Well, not
Okay.
Friday, I was talking
Okay.
to Jake and he said they need at least till Friday.
Roger that.
Where is it closed from? What point? to what
Right
point?
now, they've got that intersection at Terrace Depot, like they
Mhm.
had last year, kind of weird. You can go up the intersection, but you gotta turn right or left, you can't go straight. And then it's closed at the four-way stop, 5,000. So, and then they'll have to close. And then they'll have to go down to old Deneen's building, so they'll have to reverse the intersection for one day probably and
Mhm.
make you go through Riverdale for probably, I would say a day maybe.
Yeah.
Not like 3 months.
Yep.
Tell somebody it's 3 months and see what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, I think people ask me about that again.
I did that at church Sunday. You,
You said 3 months?
yeah, I said, oh, just, what? People swear in church, you ever heard that?
I think that's all I had.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. Mike?
For me, thanks to Jake, because I looked at the email, people were asking me and I told them it was gonna be closed till Saturday because he said it was the latest. So,
Okay.
thanks to Jake for the email. And then my daughter actually texted me while we were meeting at Romer Park at the big slide. There's graffiti inside.
Oh, that's too bad.
So that she noticed it while we were in this meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
It's not good to have graffiti.
Well, I know, but it's good that we have, see something, say something out there.
Yeah.
So,
And then
And that's got some good camera support on it, so maybe we'll be able to figure out who that was. The only challenge is not knowing when
mhm.
it happened, and so
yeah.
that becomes challenging, but still.
And then did you look up the cost of what it would be for cameras to do the other outhouses, porta potties for the other parks?
Yeah, you're looking basically to get the power there, to get the camera system set up, to bring in the internet and everything else. You're just looking, basically what we paid for Lions, which was somewhere around 7,000, something, 8,000 by the time everything's done. And so yeah, it's not budgeted right now, but it is something that we're curious about for some of the parks that don't have any cameras at all. And just saying, hey, we'll look at doing some stuff in the future for those, but yeah.
Yeah, because I had some residents at that park that we took it away that are older that wish that it would be back, but understand why not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just wondering about that, so we can try and get it back eventually one day.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. I really don't have anything. So Tom, turn it over to you. Administration reports. You got anything else?
We're gonna be pretty brief. Working on the housing report right now. And And we'll be working on the RDA report coming up shortly, just some state, requirements on what we're doing with housing. I'm gonna try to make it really clear this year and working with the league on seeing if we can't get some legislation that if a city reaches a certain density of affordable housing, that they would have the opportunity to opt out of the affordable housing report, because it takes quite a bit of effort to do. And for us, we're built out. And there just isn't a lot of change, but we talk about it, we jump through the hoop, and we follow the state mandate.
Didn't Senator Milner also express that she thought that was a reasonable request? When
We'll
we
see
met
how
with-
that goes, right?
When we met with the three of them.
Yeah,
I think they said
the three of them
stronger
also
than that, didn't they? Just tell them,
the three of them also suggested that we just ignore the report and tell them to,
We love that.
yeah. So we won't be doing that. There are state funds that are associated with this that we feel like it is essential that we receive. So
My hopes is that maybe we would have her support if we.
I
pursued
would
that.
imagine so, of course.
yeah,
That's all I've got.
okay, thank you. Wick. On the graffiti on the slides, fortunately, I know there was some on there one day and I passed the public works guys heading down to take care of it, and I guess on that slide material, I guess it's fairly easy to get off. And
Okay,
they said they had that off in like 15 minutes, so
good.
I don't know what, hopefully it's the same stuff. But so we'll see. But yeah, that's the outhouse is still upright though. Okay.
No fire marks or anything.
Okay, no burn marks on the toilet paper's not burned up. Okay, great, thank you. Upcoming events, June 13, 14, Terrace Days. Looking forward to that. Looks like there's gonna be some fun things, like a foam pit. Did you see that picture? That looked
Yeah.
fun.
Foam cannon.
Foam
Foam
cannon,
cannon.
yeah, that makes it even sound better. Okay, we're excited for that. And June 16th, city offices closed for National Freedom Day observance, Juneteenth. So that's June 16th. So I guess, I don't know if that's a state holiday, a national holiday, what day it is.
Be coming to that.
And state holiday. State celebrates that third Monday in June
Okay,
and federal on the 19th. So some cities and states, they have their own. different days to
oh,
celebrate.
really?
Yeah, so some cities, Utah might be closed on the 19th and we closed on that 16th. So I don't know if that's something. It was in the legislature this year to change it so that it's just on the 19th. So the confusion.
That would be nice.
I think because it was attached to something else.
Oh.
Right, did it pass? So next year, make something fun with that.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would really be nice.
If
Okay.
it doesn't change in the state, right now we follow the state law, so
Okay.
they may change in the state, we'll just follow that. If not,
Really?
we can also can make a decision.
So federal is the 19th
Yeah.
and just Utah is, well, I guess,
Well,
a few other
yeah,
states
Some,
or
some,
Monday.
some other states
Oh.
have different too, but
Huh.
that's what they,
Okay. Now, as a city, could we say we'd rather do it on the 19th?
Yeah.
Instead of the 16th?
they could. Now, it might be too
Too late.
but I mean, in the
Well, let's do it right now.
But I-
Let's put it on the agenda. Yeah, yeah.
I- March 15th, so I might go on the 19th and do some.
Okay, let's look into that.
And I think kind of mixed throughout the state, or they actually follow it.
That's a bad,
Yeah.
it's a bad time for,
So 2 years ago is when it became state.
Okay.
Federal, state law. And it happened to be on a Monday, so I don't think there was any.
Oh.
confusion. And then last year it was on a
then everybody was,
Tuesday or Wednesday, and I think that's
Okay.
where we decided, oh,
okay,
well, we should.
okay, okay, good. Okay, and then June 17th, right after that is our next city council meeting at 6 PM, no work session.
Nope.
Nope, okay, we heard it. Nope, no work session, Sheree, no work session. Okay, have it all done by then. We're ready to roll. June 26th, Planning Commission meeting at 6 PM. Yes. July 1st will be our July, council meeting. So we will have that one. July 4th, of course, Independence Day, which is on July 4th, not on Monday, whatever. Keep it simple. Okay, great. Thank you very much. This time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like a motion to adjourn this meeting, but don't go away because we are going to go directly into a redevelopment agency meeting. So I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Let's jump right into our redevelopment agency meeting. That's an RDA meeting. We'd like a roll call. Amy? Here?
Here.
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 Vice Chair Webb
Here.
and Board Member Tom.
Thank you. And look like we're all present this evening. Appreciate you, board members, for being here tonight. We'd like to introduce our guests. Well, we have a couple staff members with us, so thank you for being with us. Consent items, approval of tonight's agenda, and also meeting minutes from May 20th, 2025. Staff, agenda, we're okay? No
Yep.
changes?
We're good.
And board members, any changes, corrections, those meeting minutes? Okay. Any objection to the approval of those two items? Okay, we'll approve those by general consent. Thank you. We do have some new business, 4.1 presentation discussion. Changes to the fiscal year 2025-26 tentative budget in preparation for the final budget adoption.
Right.
Cherie?
Tom?
Oh, Tom?
Yep.
Sorry.
So let me give you a little background on this to describe kind of why we're having this discussion. We submit to the county, when the community reinvestment area went into play, we sent them certain parameters that is the project area that is submitted to the county. The county then puts together that project area map, and then they apply the increment. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm just giving the background to that. Good, thank you. You're not wrong in making sure I'm staying on track.
Yes.
So thank you, Amy. So the county determined the project area, but there was an error in their map. Their map included the Lake Park apartments and some things that were categorically not in the project area. And so we were looking at our numbers and we're just like, Cherie and I were talking, we're like, this isn't making sense. And so we reached out to the county and met with Stephanie and had her review the project area and describe what they're seeing. And after we had a meeting on what their project area was, we recognized that it wasn't, there was an error in that. And so they went in, corrected the error, corrected the project area so that it would actually reflect the South Point project area. So that was shrunk. So you may have noticed in the valuation, the total increment to the agency was 196,493 last year, which was not correct. The number should have been $150,146. So what that means is those other taxing entities that are participating in the RDA actually gave up more than they should have, because we were collecting on not only the Golden West Credit Union, but also the Lake Park Apartments. They should have been getting all of their increment from the Lake Park Apartments through their their countywide taxes. So we needed to make a correction. Stephanie made a correction with us to basically, in an accounting way, refund the $46,348 to those agencies and reduce our revenue from the increment through $103,798 for this next year, And then it will even out from then on, as long as there's no changes. Basically, it'll be 150,146 going forward that comes into the RDA. Before I move on, any questions on that particular component of the discussion? The area was this big, the area was shrunk to match what actually was sent in. There was an error they made on the calculation of that landmass. The landmass was reduced. The overpayment will be refunded through not receiving as much increment. And the other taxing entities will see a little bump for their overpayment towards the CRA.
So we will not actually physically be returning money, but rather our increment will just be lessened. To
That's right.
The difference.
That's right. Yep. And in your next discussion after this item, you'll be authorizing the use of those funds for repayment of a portion of that income.
And then after this year, then it will return to that 150.
That's right. That's right. So what you have on here is the discussion on the tentative budget to reflect going forward that 150,146. You can see the total at the bottom. So you have the amount that is on the payback agreement of the 130,627. You have the allowance for administering the community, the South Point CRA, and the 15,000 that goes to housing in the Olding Walker Housing Fund or housing projects that we could possibly do within the city. So those are state mandates that we are covering, giving you a total of that 150,146. Any questions on the expense right there? On the expense side. The revenue side, we are showing the change on the revenue for the 135,131 on revenue into the as increment, and then the housing requirement for the CRA of the 1501 that comes to a total of your 150,146. So your revenue and your expenditure balance out on that, showing those two, that offsetting number. So you've got your revenue coming in that will take care of that and show that expense, offset expense. Is that clear as mud or clearer? Crystal?
Crystal, we okay? Good. All right. So no action on that.
You actually don't have an action. It's just any concerns going forward
Okay.
with the budget when it will be presented to you in its final form.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Glad we caught that. So,
Well, it was definitely an anomaly. They actually found a couple of other RDA environments where the mapping was a little off. And you know, it was nice that it's a small enough
Yeah.
area that we were able to catch it. Some of them are complicated enough. I was talking to Stephanie, and there's many as 17 different RDAs in an area and different, I mean,
Oh,
it's just,
geez.
and some of the mapping was messed up there. So it took quite a bit to clear that out. But the county did express their appreciation to our team of bringing it to their awareness and remedying it. There was obviously nothing like, you know, wanting to skirt around that in any way. We just want to make sure it was right. And
Okay.
so it is, and it's great.
Good. All right. Well, let's move to item 4.2 then, discussion/motion.
Okay.
Motion to authorize the use of tax increment funds from the South Point Reinvestment
Okay.
Project area for partial repayment of Golden West Credit Union incentives.
That's right. As the RDA board, so you're having your RDA hats on right now, as you are authorizing the use of this increment as anticipated with all the interlocal agreements, that a portion of that increment coming in will be used or for the repayment of a portion of the incentive that was paid to Golden West Credit Union in a lump sum. So per those agreements, we were given the opportunity to repay a portion of the 1.2 million, an incentive that was paid out until the total amount, and I don't have that number right in front of me, team. If you have got it in your notes, I welcome the input.
1.2 million.
No, it's not the 1.2, it's the 700.
43.
43.
743.
Thank you. So the 743,000, which is a tremendous help to what we're doing. That will go into repaying the RDA. So it goes from the CRA of the South Point into the RDA to repay the Southeast RDA. Because that's where it's actually, you've got two different RDAs that you're basically dealing with. Even though it's under the bundle of your RDA as a board, you're authorizing the use of that to go to this. So that's what this authorization is.
Okay,
Questions?
questions?
Clarify that one more time.
Okay,
With all those CRAs and RDAs and all
okay.
that, I just want to make sure my brain is following.
There's two different areas that you are managing right now. Well, you actually have three, but I'm not going to confuse it. You have the Southeast area RDA, which includes basically Adams Avenue, the new project where the 5580 dental office, accounting office, all of that is going where they bought the property. This whole area in through here is all in and part of that RDA. That RDA paid the increment to Golden West Credit Union, the 1.2. So that Southeast area paid that amount. Now we set up the community reinvestment area, South Point CRA. So there's a South Point and a Southeast. South Point meaning the name of the street that is here in front of City Hall, also AKA 400 East. That project area is receiving the increment. South Point is receiving it. And you as the board are taking that increment that was agreed up front and using that increment to help repay a portion of what was paid out for the incentive with Golden West Credit Union and will be paid to the RDA or the Southeast area as a repayment of a portion of that incentive payment. So you're all under the same, you're all in the same account, yet you have the Southeast, and in this case, the South Point accounts. You've got two different accounts, Southeast and South Point, and you're taking some like from savings into checking. You're taking it from South Point, from savings into checking, or taking it from that to that project, or, you know, and moving it into those environments to help repay a portion. Again, it's just a portion of that investment that was provided to Golden West. And as a kind of a public service announcement, that increment that incentive that was paid to Golden West has already outperformed the projections on what we were anticipating from the South Point CRA. The valuation of that building is considerably more than we anticipated on the initial budgets. And so not only has it done as well as anticipated, it's actually outperformed it. The increment is coming in very, very strong. And it's a very great example of a well-structured RDA for a project that is going to benefit everyone countywide through the RDA incentive type programs. So.
Thank you. That helped clarify.
Was that okay? Yeah. And in describing that, there was absolutely no talking down, because it is a little bit confusing. There's no question. Very, very fair, very terrific question. So I'd love your support on authorizing the use of the South Point increment to move, to be used to help pay back a portion of what was paid out from the southeast project area.
Okay, thank you, Tom. With that motion or with
Make a motion on
that
that,
suggestion, I would entertain a motion.
that we use the, make a motion that we use the tax increment funds from the South Point Reinvestment Project area for the partial repayment of Golden West credit union incentives as described.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Great job, Tom. Thank you. And that is all. Nothing else on tonight's agenda for the RDA, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank